My name is Andrew Kilzer, and I'm the General Manager at Texas FilmWorks. So I grew up in North Houston in the Spring Klein area, but I went to school at Tomball. My mom taught there. And I came here to go to school. I thought I was going to go to the University of Texas. I went on a visit. It did not feel like a place where I would succeed at 18 years old. And then I came to Aggieland, and this just felt like home. So I've lived here ever since. I didn't really grow up with an interest in film. It wasn't something that was my passion as a kid. I think the movie I looked forward to most as a child was Waterworld. And as an adult, that was a terrible movie to think was going to be really good. I was an education major when I was at A&M. I did my student teaching, realized that wasn't something that I was going to be successful at if I went and taught for years. It just wasn't a good fit for me. But I was TexAg's first full-time employee at that point. And this is right when YouTube was starting up, when cameras and all that stuff was kind of getting to a price point where more people could participate in the media industry. And so I started taking photos for TexAgs on the sideline of basketball and football games. In 2010, we started up a radio show. So I figured out how to get that going with the guys, and we worked on that. And then just kind of started doing more film projects, more videos and things like that. I originally had the idea for what is now Texas FilmWorks back in 2010. I pitched it to the guys that own TexAgs. And smartly, they realized I couldn't run a company at that time. I needed to learn some other stuff. So I left, helped run another production company in town, worked at the university for a little bit, and realized that live production, events, concerts was just not a life that I wanted to live. I was away from my family too much. So in 2015, beginning 2016, I came back to the guys that run the TexAgs organization and said, hey, I think there's a business here. There wasn't a big production capacity here in College Station. There was a couple smaller companies that were getting a little bit older and maybe not doing the most current kind of technology and approach towards filmmaking. It was really 12th Man Productions in town that's still kind of they do really, really good work. And so I realized there was a market for more video work and more production capacity, and so we started in 2016, and the goal was to do as much work as we could for the university and for clients here, and that's expanded to, some clients around the state and some around the world. So the building we're in now just opened up exactly a week ago. We had our grand opening ceremony. It's been a goal to have a studio space for ourselves for a number of years now, and this is right next to our offices, and it came on the market. We were able to get it, and the guys that did the work here did a really, really good job, and I'm really excited to see where we can go when we have a dedicated space to do this kind of stuff. I couldn't do anything without the team of people that are here at FilmWorks. The best part of my job is working with the team of people I have. They really love what they do. They're excited, they're energetic, they have good ideas, but more importantly, they represent the 4 values that I find to be the most important thing about what Texas FilmWorks is. Excellent work whenever we get the chance for ourselves and our clients. We want to honor the people we work for and we work with. We want to have a sense of gratitude because we get to play with cameras and tell cool stories and do interesting things every day. We want to try and have a little bit of fun on the way. My feeling is if I can do those 4 things, it doesn't matter if I'm working on an assembly line, if I'm at a fast food burger joint, or if I'm running a film company. I feel like I can go home and know that I did something that mattered. When you live in a community like Bryan College Station, there's not a ton of big industry that does massive media buys. It's really Texas A&M and a handful of other really great companies. There's a ton of small businesses in our community that do really great work and that have a ton of passion for what they do. They just don't always have the budget to do work with a team like mine. We want to see ourselves working with as many different clients as we can, mainly because it's where we live. You have to be willing to do the work that comes along and do it to the best of your ability. And because of that, we do a lot of work with the university, trying to tell complicated stories, trying to tell heartwarming kinds of stories that connect to people. But then there's clients from around the country that have seen other projects we've done, or I'll make a random connection with somebody and get on the phone and we'll have a conversation, and then we're flying to DC to shoot a film or something. It's all word of mouth and relationship based in this business, especially when anybody can go get a camera at Best Buy and start shooting stuff. You really have to find a way to make connections and build relationships, because that's the way that the way that I've found that I'm going to actually be able to make a difference and work with people. There's 2 that stand out. There's a film that's going to come out from us later this year called Breaking Tradition, the Hugh McElroy story. It's all about Hugh McElroy, who played football here at Texas A&M University. It's way less about football than you would imagine, being about a guy that played football at Texas A&M, and it's way more about his family. And so it's honestly a beautiful film. And there's another film that we did for the Association of Former Students called Colonel Campbell's Final Flight. Colonel Campbell was an Aggie who was shot down over Vietnam in 1967. He was flying a mission over Laos when the United States publicly wasn't admitting that they were doing any fighting in Laos at the time. And because of that, he was shot down. He was classified as a prisoner of war. Then they realized he was killed in action. They found his remains remains. They brought him back to the United States. And for the Association of Former Students, we got to tell the story of him being buried at Arlington National Cemetery. It's still a film that I look back on and think that it was something that I got to help tell an Aggie story, but more importantly, I told the story for the family and helped them put a little bit of closure on a process that took much longer than they would have wanted it to. Brandon, our CEO, and I went to El Salvador in 2017 to tell the story of two Aggies that lived down there who played on the A&M men's soccer team. They were varsity for half of the season, but they've never been recognized by the university as lettermen. So it's a film called The Lost Letterman, where we tell the story of that team and that season, their fight or their struggle to become lettermen at Texas A&M. It was really fun, and I got to go see a country I probably wouldn't have gotten to go to. That's the best part about this industry. You get to travel, you get to meet great people, and you never know where a project is going to take you. With the studio, my business is changing up a little bit. I'm imagining we're going to have more people coming into this space to do things like you're doing right now. But we want to be on client location as much as we can. Video works best, in my opinion, when you have something to see, something to touch, something to hold. And so that works really well when we go to a client's location and actually get to see what it is they do. Plus, it gives us a chance to meet more of the team, kind of get the feel for what the client is all about, and help tell their story in just a little bit different way like that. Most often these days, we're working to tell brand stories. So what is your company's story? How do you want to position yourself in the market? And how do you want to humanize yourselves? Video's gone from being a luxury item for most businesses, something that costs a lot of money and it would be nice to have. I think most business owners these days and organizational leaders are realizing that video is a must-have. It's interacted with highly on the internet. It keeps people retained, and you can really show off who you're about. When we do a brand piece, we're getting to tell the company's story at that moment in time, catch up to the history of who they are, where they've come from, and kind of give a vision for where they might go in the future. I think $5,000 to $10,000 is a great starting point for a lot of our services. We tend to break our pricing into days of production, hours of editing, and then you include pre-production if it's necessary, script writing, voiceover, all those different things. A lot of people are going to say you charge per finished minute, or it's $1,000 a finished minute is a number you hear thrown around. And that can be true for some people, but the truth is, to do really good work, you need a team of people. You need people who are good at lighting, you need people who are good at running a camera and getting a beautiful shot set up, you need somebody who knows the questions to ask. So it just takes people there, and putting one set price on something is really difficult. I try to be as transparent with my pricing as I can with clients. It's something I'm always willing to talk about very first off. I don't mind doing that. I don't want to feel like I'm a used car salesman. I want to just be really honest with people and how they're going to interact with my team. Some companies like mine, you're going to hire them and they're going to go shoot a video, and you're going to end up having to license the final video or the final photos from them. That works really well when it comes to a magazine ad or stock footage or something that works on a level that's different than the Bryan College Station market can withstand. When I work with a client, they're not only paying me for the finished product, they're also paying me for the footage it took to get there. So I'm very open. I say, hey, this is your footage, do what you want with it. If they want to go hire an intern to cut through the footage, be my guest. My hope is that we had such a great experience working together that they'll come back to me for that point, but I don't want to gatekeep anything that belongs to the client. It's really their stuff. I'm just trying to help them tell their story, and so I'm more than happy to give them the footage that we've shot. Texas loves Texas, and I'm a huge fan of Texas. I think Texas is such a big state that there's a never-ending amount of things to do and see and tell. We chose the name Texas FilmWorks because we felt like if we could own our geography, if we could really own the fact that we're from Texas, we know Texas, we understand how to operate here, that we're never going to run out of clients to work with. There's other great production companies in this town and in other cities, but I just love the state. I love what Texas is all about. I love the barbecue. I love the big, endless blue sky that you get on a summer day. I don't love the heat. I wish it was more all year round, 70 degrees or less. There's certain things about filming in Texas that you just have to understand, and people don't always get it. You don't shoot outside a lot when we don't get rain in the summer because everything goes brown. You also don't shoot outside after probably 8 a.m. in the summer or until about 7 p.m. because the lighting, the weather, the way that things are functioning just in our environment doesn't lend itself well to what we're trying to pull off. Aggies are the best clients, in my opinion. I am an Aggie. And like Texans love Texas, Texas Aggies love Texas A&M University. Your time as an Aggie at Texas A&M University is without a doubt one of the most special times of your life. I'm not going to say it's the best because I've got kids and I've got a wife and I live an amazing life right now, and I think the next day is always going to be better than the day before. But working with Aggies, they love telling stories about their time here at Texas A&M. They love the connection that Aggies have with each other, and we're a passionate group of people. Filming in Bryan College Station is a beautiful place to film. Everybody's excited to get on camera. They're excited for the stories of this community to be told. The biggest challenge probably is the train. You never know what's going to come through, and this town was founded on the train, and so you just have to kind of live with it. The film community in the Brazos Valley is definitely growing. We've got some people who are really talented here. There's more people coming in town all the time that have experience and they're doing this stuff. There's students at A&M who I know without a doubt are going to go on and do bigger and better things than I could even dream of. If you look at the era of A&M that I was here, the 2003 to 2008 2009 time frame, there's a bunch of Aggie filmmakers out there that have done really, really big things. They've gone on to work in New York and LA. There's some guys that just sold a film that's probably going to get considered for an Oscar this next year. So there's Aggies out there doing really, really good work, and this community is realizing that we've got some good stories to tell, and you're only going to see that grow, I think this state is realizing that creatives in the creative industry is a good thing to have. I think for a while we might not have really understood that, or the state might not have put as much effort into that. There were some tax breaks years ago that the state did away with. I'd love to see that come back. I'd love to see the state of Texas be a little bit more aggressive. I honestly think that the state of Texas is positioned. You have Houston. Houston has a real flavor to it. There's some really interesting stuff. There's some really interesting imagery, and the people in Houston are fascinating. The food scene there alone lends itself to some beautiful stuff. You've got Austin, which everybody talks about. The area there in Austin lends itself to gorgeous outdoor views and anything you might want. And then you've got the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which Dallas has a real like East Coast vibe almost, and Fort Worth is a really Western feeling city. So you've got all these different things going on, even just in the Texas Triangle, not even to mention San Antonio and all the culture and things going on there. And so again, the industry is democratizing itself out there, and you're going to see more really talented creators come up just because they've had a chance to do things that I had no shot at until I was 25, 26 years old. The future of Texas FilmWorks is kind of whatever my team wants to make it. I've said for a long time that I'm the limiting factor for where we're going to go, and so I've tried to get myself out of the equation as much as possible. Me bringing on young people, me bringing on people who are more capable and more talented than I am at doing all the things that it takes to run a film business means that we've got a chance to do some really cool and really special things. And I think this company is only limited by the imagination and the chances we get. I'm excited to see what the next 5, 10 years brings for this company. The first 9 have been really amazing, and I'm excited to see what comes next.